In the fruit market of Agbowa, women sat under the shade, eating fruit and chatting. "It is good to have a responsible child, Shadi," said Ireti. "You see, when I was little, my mother always said, better one good child than 4 bad ones. Now I see why. Look at how Bisola has changed her mother's business." Shadi nodded, agreeing with her friend. Bisola did a great job even though her father was not helpful. At least she was blessed with a righteous child. The women in the market admired Bisola's hard work. She had taken over her late mother's farm and turned it into a thriving business. Her dedication and hard work had paid off, making her a role model for many in the village. As they chatted, an elderly woman named Funke joined them. "Bisola is indeed a blessing," she said. "Her mother must be so proud. Looking down from heaven, she has turned the farm from nothing into something amazing." The women continued to talk about Bisola and her achievements. They praised her for her determination and commitment to her mother's legacy. One sunny afternoon, Bisola was cleaning her mother's room. It was a special room filled with memories. Her father, Kunle, had always kept it untouched after her mother passed away. Bisola found comfort in the room, feeling close to her mother's spirit. As she dusted the wardrobe, something caught her eye. A small envelope was hidden behind some clothes. Curiosity got the better of her and she pulled it out. Her heart skipped a beat when she saw the words written on it, "For Bisola from your mother." Bisola sat on the bed staring at the envelope. She couldn't believe her mother had written her a letter before passing away. With trembling hands, she opened it and began to read. "Bisola Okomi," meaning Bisola, my husband in Yoruba. Most Yoruba women call their children Okomi. The letter began, "I wonder when you will read this. I hope I am still alive to talk about it with you. Watching you crawl and smile makes me so happy. You complete me, Bisola." Tears filled Bisola's eyes as she read her mother's words. She felt a mix of emotions, sadness for the loss of her mother and joy for the love and wisdom. Bisola continued reading the letter, feeling her mother's presence with every word. "Bisola, I have some important things to share with you about life and love. When I married your father, I thought we would be happy forever. But things changed. Not everyone can handle money and power. It changed your father in a bad way." Bisola remembered her father Kunle and how he had become different after gaining access to money and power. He was once a kind and loving man, but the change had been hard on their family. "Please don't hate your father," the letter continued. "He was a good man when I met him. Take your time when it comes to marriage. Understand yourself and love yourself first. Make sure your heart is full of love for yourself, so any love from others will be extra." Her mother's advice touched Bisola deeply. She realized the importance of self-love and taking time to make important decisions. Her mother's wisdom was a precious gift and she promised to cherish it forever. As Bisola was lost in her mother's letter, she suddenly heard a loud knock on the door. Startled, she jumped up and quickly wiped her tears. "Who is it?" she called out. A young, handsome man stood at the entrance. "Good afternoon, madam," he said politely. "I'm Ade, the head contractor for the house renovation. I hope I didn't disturb you." Bisola smiled and invited him in. "No, you didn't disturb me. Please come in. What can I do for you?" Ade explained that he was there to check on the renovation progress and see if Bisola had any concerns. "I am really pleased with the work so far," she said, "but please hurry up. Traveling to Agbowa every day is tiring." "I understand," Ade said. "We will make sure to finish the work as quickly as possible while maintaining quality. Your satisfaction is our priority." Bisola thanked him and watched as he left. She felt a strange connection to Ade, but she quickly pushed the thought aside and returned to her mother's letter. The next morning, Bisola greeted her guardians, Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo, at the breakfast table. "Good morning, Mommy and Daddy," she said cheerfully. "Shade, when did you get here?" Mr. Adebayo asked, surprised to see her. "I arrived late last night. I didn't want to wake you," Bisola explained. Mrs. Adebayo looked worried. "Shade, you know I don't like you traveling at night. It's not safe. Please, if you are coming to Agbowa, leave early." "I'm sorry, Mommy," Bisola said, feeling guilty. "I won't do it again. I know it's for my safety." Mrs. Adebayo smiled and hugged Bisola. "We just care about you there. Always be careful." Bisola felt grateful for the love and care of her guardians. They had always treated her like their own daughter, and she couldn't thank them enough for their support. Later that day, Bisola visited the farm. She called out to the workers who were busy with their tasks. "Good morning, everyone," she greeted cheerfully. The farm manager, Tunde, approached her. "Good morning, madam. We weren't expecting you today." Bisola laughed. "Hey, Bamio, do I need permission to visit my own farm? How are the deliveries for this week going?" Tunde assured her that everything was on track. "We have counted the cassavas carefully. There won't be any problems like last time." "Good," Bisola said. "Remember, integrity is everything in business. Make sure the workers take breaks and rest. We don't want anyone falling sick." Tunde nodded and promised to take care of the workers. Bisola was satisfied with the progress and returned to her office to go through some documents. As Bisola was walking, her phone rang. She picked it up and was surprised to hear Ade's voice. "Good afternoon, ma'am. I hope I'm not disturbing you." "No, you are not," Bisola replied. "What's the matter?" "We need some money for new equipment and materials," Ade explained. "You told me to call you once I knew the cost." "Oh, that's true," Bisola said. "Send me your account details and I will transfer the money." After ending the call, Bisola couldn't help but think about Ade. There was something about him that intrigued her. She shook her head, trying to focus on her work, but thoughts of Ade kept creeping back into her mind. That night, during dinner, Mrs. Adebayo brought up a topic that made Bisola feel shy. "Shade, do you have any man you are talking to?" she asked with a knowing smile. Bisola blushed and looked down at her plate. "No, Mommy, why do you ask?" Mrs. Adebayo smiled warmly. "We just want you to be happy, dear. If there is anyone special, don't be afraid to tell us." Bisola hesitated but decided to share her feelings. "Well, there is this man renovating my house. His name is Ade. I feel attracted to him, but I don't know if he feels the same way." Mrs. Adebayo's eyes lit up. "That's wonderful. Shade, if you like him, maybe you should talk to him." Bisola shook her head. "I can't be the first to talk about love. It's embarrassing." Mrs. Adebayo smiled and took Bisola's hand. "Sometimes taking the first step is the bravest thing you can do. Follow your heart, my dear." The next day, Ade confided in his friend Ola about his feelings for Bisola. "I'm in love with her, but I don't know how to tell her. She is my client and it feels unprofessional," Ade said, looking troubled. Ola smiled and patted Ade on the back. "You need to tell her how you feel. You might be surprised by her response." Ade sighed. "I'm scared, Ola. What if she doesn't feel the same way?" Ola decided to help his friend. He took Ade's phone and called Bisola. "Hello, ma'am. This is Ola, Ade's friend. I hope you don't mind me calling." Bisola was curious. "No, I don't mind. What's the matter?" "Ade is in love with you," Ola said bluntly. "He is too shy and professional to say it himself, but he would like to talk to you about it. Can you come to the site today?" Bisola was surprised but happy. "Yes, I can come. Thank you, Ola." Bisola arrived at the renovation site, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. She saw Ade standing by the entrance, looking equally anxious. As she approached, Ade smiled warmly, and Bisola felt her heart flutter. "Hi, Bisola," Ade said, trying to sound confident. "I'm glad you came." "Hi, Ade," Bisola replied, feeling a bit shy. "Ola told me you wanted to talk." Ade took a deep breath. "Yes, I do, Bisola. Ever since I started working on your house, I've felt something special. I didn't want to cross my boundaries because you are my client. But I can't keep this feeling to myself anymore. I like you, Bisola, a lot. Bisola's heart raised as she listened to Ade's confession. She felt a warm rush of happiness and relief. Ade, I like you too. Have been feeling the same way, but didn't know how to tell you. Ade's face lit up with joy. Really? I'm so happy to hear that, Bisola. I promise to respect you and take things slowly. Bisola smiled and reached out to hold Ade's hand. I believe you, Ade. Let's take this journey together. After their heartfelt conversation, Bisola and Ade began spending more time together. They would meet at the renovation site and talk about their dreams, aspirations, and past experiences. Their connection grew stronger with each passing day. One afternoon, Bisola invited Ade to visit her farm. I want to show you what I've been working on, she said excitedly. Ade agreed and they spent the day exploring the farm. Bisola showed him the crops, the workers and the improvements he had made. Ade was impressed by her dedication and hard work. You've done an amazing job, Bisola, Ade said, admiring the thriving farm. Your mother would be so proud of you, my love. Bisola felt a surge of pride and happiness. Thank you, Ade. It means a lot to me. I'm glad I can share this with you. As the sun began to set, Bisola and Ade sat under a large tree, enjoying the peacefulness of the farm. They talked about their future and the possibilities ahead. I want to support you in any way I can, Bisola, Ade said sincerely. Together, we can achieve great things. Bisola smiled and leaned her head on Ade's shoulder. I feel the same way, Ade. Thank you for being here with me. Bisola and Ade's relationship continued to blossom, and they decided it was time to introduce Ade to Bisola's guardians, Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo. Bisola was a bit nervous, but she knew it was an important step. One evening, she invited Ade to dinner at her guardian's home. As they sat around the table, Bisola introduced Ade. Mommy, Daddy, this is Ade. He is the one I've been telling you about. Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo welcomed Ade warmly. It's nice to meet you, Ade, Mr. Adebayo said with a smile. Bisola has spoken highly of you. Ade felt a sense of relief and gratitude. Thank you, sir. It's an honor to meet you both. I care deeply for Bisola and promise to treat her with respect and love. Mrs. Adebayo nodded approvingly. We are happy to see Bisola so happy. As long as you treat her well, you have our support. The dinner went smoothly, and by the end of the evening, Ade had earned the Adebayo's approval. Bisola felt a sense of contentment and happiness knowing her guardians supported her relationship with Ade. While Bisola's life seemed to be falling into place, an unexpected event shook her world. One day, she received a call from her father, Kunle. He had been away for years and his return was a surprise. Bisola, it's your father, Kunle said, his voice filled with emotion. I'm back in Agbowa. Can we meet? Bisola felt a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a tiny bit of hope. She had not heard from her father in so long and now he wanted to reconnect. After some thought, she decided to meet him. They arranged to meet at a small cafe in the village. When Bisola arrived, she saw her father sitting at a table looking older and worn out. He stood up when he saw her and embraced her tightly. I've missed you, Bisola, Kunle said, his eyes filled with tears. I know I made many mistakes and I'm sorry for the pain I caused you. Bisola felt her anger melting away as she looked into her father's eyes. She knew forgiveness was not easy, but it was a step she needed to take for her own peace. I missed you too, Daddy, Bisola said softly. Let's talk and try to move forward. Bisola and Kunle spent hours talking, sharing their experiences and emotions. Kunle, her father, explained how he had realized his mistakes and wanted to make amends. He apologized for his absence and the pain he had caused Bisola and her mother. I know I can't change the past, Kunle said, his voice filled with regret. But I want to be a better father to you, Bisola. I want to be part of your life again. Bisola appreciated her father's sincerity. She decided to give him a chance to rebuild their relationship. It will take time, Daddy, she said. but I'm willing to try. Let's take it one step at a time. Kunle smiled, feeling a sense of hope. Thank you, Bisola. I promise to be there for you from now on. Bisola and Kunle began spending more time together, slowly rebuilding their trust. Kunle and Dad visited the farm and helped with some of the work, eager to support Bisola's efforts. As they walked side by side, Bisola felt a sense of healing. She knew the journey would be long, but she was willing to give her father a chance to prove himself. With her father back in her life and her relationship with Ade growing stronger, Bisola felt a renewed sense of hope and happiness. She continued to work hard on the farm, ensuring its success and prosperity. One evening, as the sun set over the field, Ade and Bisola sat together talking about their future. I want to build a life with you, Bisola, Ade said, holding her hand. I want us to create something beautiful together. Bisola smiled, feeling its deep sense of love and contentment. I want that too, Ade. Let's build a future filled with love, happiness, and success. As they looked out at the horizon, Bisola knew that her journey was just beginning. With the support of her loved ones and the wisdom of her mother's letter, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. After months of growing closer, Bisola and Ade decided it was time to take the next step in their relationship. Ade planned a special evening to propose to Bisola, wanting to make it a moment she would never forget. Under the stars on Bisola's farm, Ade knelt down and held out a ring. Bisola, you are the love of my life. Will you marry me and make me the happiest man on earth? Tears of joy filled Bisola's eyes as she nodded. Yes, Ade, I will marry you. Their engagement was a joyous occasion celebrated by their friends and family. Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo were overjoyed and proudly supported Bisola and Ade in their journey towards marriage. The months leading up to the wedding were filled with excitement and preparations. The entire village of Agbowa came together to help with the arrangements. Everyone wanted to contribute to the celebration of Bisola and Ade's love. Traditional decorations adorned the venue. The aroma of delicious Yoruba dishes filled the air. The anticipation grew as the big day approached. On the day of the wedding, the village was buzzing with excitement. People came from near and far to witness the union of Bisola and Ade. The ceremony was held in a beautifully decorated hall with flowers and lights, creating a magical atmosphere. Bisola looked stunning in her traditional wedding attire, and Ade couldn't take his eyes off her. As they exchanged vows, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. The love and commitment they shared were evident to all. After the vows, the celebration continued with music, dancing and feasting. The joy and happiness of the day were contagious, and everyone rejoiced with Bisola and Ade. The kindness and generosity of Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo were recognized by everyone. They had raised Bisola with love and care, and their effort had not gone unnoticed. The community expressed their gratitude and pride in the Adebayo family. We are so proud of you, Bisola, and grateful to Mr. and Mrs. Adebayo for their kindness, said one of the villagers. They have truly shown what it means to be a family. As Bisola and Ade began their new life together, they felt blessed to have such a supportive community and loving family. Their love story was an inspiration to all, a testament to the power of love, forgiveness, and community. I really hope you enjoyed this story. Would you like to see more of this? If so, please subscribe to this channel. Please hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Could you also please help by liking this video? I will be very grateful. Thank you so much for your support.